We all know reality TV rots your brain and makes you question if there is any good left in society, but it's fun, right?
Choices.
Which is exactly why it's a good theme for a horror movie. People are vile, and people will do pretty much anything for fame and money, because everyone has a price. And that is exactly what I'm hoping to see today. So I think we should meet our contestants for today's double movie feature. First up, from 2019, they are the Big Brother-inspired death game that sees a group of influencers locked inside a house for a reality TV show. Every 3 days, the influencer with the lowest votes must participate in a penalty game with deadly results. It's Funhouse! Second, from 2017, they are the Fear Factor-inspired death game that shows just how far people will go to be on TV when a new program launches onto the airwaves, pushing people to end their lives for the audience's entertainment. It's This Is Your Death, aka The Show. Now, the idea of my double features is not to pit these two movies against each other to decide which one of them is the superior movie, but to pair two movies together in some way that is complementary to make for a really good double feature back-to-back viewing experience. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to watch both of these movies and give you my opinions on them and tell you whether I think they are a good complementary back-to-back viewing experience or what I think you should watch instead of one of these movies. So I am going to go watch both of these two movies off camera, so there will be no spoilers for the actual plots of the films if you decide that these two movies, or even one of these movies, is something that you would like to watch for yourself. So I'm going to start with Funhouse, and I will be back after I watch the movie to give you my initial thoughts and my opinions on it.
Wow, it's empty.
I actually like this movie more than I thought I would, so I'm pleasantly surprised. It's not a great movie by any means, but I'm pleasantly surprised by this. I knew it wasn't going to be much in terms of budget and the challenges and the sets and basically anything apart from the main room in this movie are prime examples of this. Like, the CGI panda is laughably bad. Like, it's hilarious how bad the panda is. But I do think that if this movie had had a bigger budget, then these issues wouldn't be such an issue. Like, the challenge room that they use is empty, and it's got a concrete floor and walls that are highlighted in black so you can't see that they are also bare. So, bigger budget, we could have done anything in those rooms instead. There are snippets interwoven with the death game of people actually watching the death game unfold either home or at work, on phones and tablets, on laptops. And I could have done without these, or had them done in a different way. And the movie that I can use as how I think they should have gone about this is The Condemned. In The Condemned, you see people watching this massive death game take place. You see them in bars, you see them in homes, you see them addicted and obsessed with watching the death game unfold and how morbid and how action-packed everything is. But you also have this sense of urgency from the FBI to find the death game and to shut the death game down. And Funhouse doesn't actually have that sense of urgency. You hardly ever see the FBI team investigating the location for where Funhouse is supposed to be taking place. The execution challenges, they're taking place every 3 days. So the FBI have clearly got plenty of time to do this because we've got, what, six challenges that we see in this? But there is absolutely an audience for people that will like Funhouse, and those people are the ones that watch reality TV like it is a religion, regardless of what it is, whether that's Big Brother, Love Island, The Circle, a certain family that starts with a K that I'm not going to mention. Any of them. And I'm no stranger to reality TV competitions. I watch RuPaul's Drag Race, and I think I have seen every single season of Face Off. Funhouse is a reality TV competition that has so many references in it to other reality TV competitions, and it pokes fun of those reality TV competitions in a way that's like, ha ha ha, see, we all know these references. And unless you are a huge fan of all these reality TV competitions, you're not gonna get the references. Like, I am pretty sure that I didn't get half the references in this because I don't watch the massive TV competitions. I tend to watch the sort of more niche ones that appeal to my own personal interests, rather than just, here's a bunch of random people who are all incredibly different that we're gonna throw together in one location for a while and see what happens. It's the reality TV version of rubbernecking at a car crash, and it reminds me of old school reality TV competitions where, yes, you could financially gain from it, but you had to give up way more to gain less, if that makes sense. I can't say that I wanted anybody to win this death game. Everybody at one point was either annoying as fuck or really, really unlikable, and they're then scattering in all of these like sob stories to try and make you actually care about who lives or dies. And by the end of it, I still didn't care who lived or died, and the person that actually won in the end, I was like, okay, anybody could have won this in the end and I'd still felt the same way. The moral of it is just, rich man can basically buy anything that they want, including human lives, because everybody's got a price. I'm actually going to give Funhouse a 2.5 out of 5 stars. Like, it's not a good movie, but also a lot of the things that I have issue with could be solved if they just had a bigger budget to begin with. The bad guy in this movie, though, absolutely can get in the bin. He's just a rich white guy with an oversized ego that needs it constantly stroking for self-validation. And when things don't go his way, he just has a tantrum like a spoilt toddler. So, yeah, I think a stronger villain would have made this more interesting. He's very, very Elon Musk, and that's not a compliment. If you didn't want to watch Funhouse, though, in the reality TV double, you could very easily swap it out for the 2010 Japanese movie The Insight Mill, which is also a Big Brother-style reality TV death game. And completely unrelated, it happened to come out a month before Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, and they have nothing to do with each other, but are conveniently nearly identical. So that's my thoughts on Funhouse. If you like reality TV, like really like reality TV, then maybe give Funhouse a try. If you're like me and you're like, I could give or take reality TV depending on what it is, then Funhouse could be very hit or miss for you. If you don't like reality TV at all, then this isn't going to be the double feature for you. And on that note, I'm going to move on to the second of the movies, and we're on to This Is Your Death, aka The Show. I'm going to grab a coffee, and then I'm going to be back to tell you my thoughts on the second movie.
You were this close to losing your...
I feel like I'm about to age myself here, but if you remember the UK TV show Don't Try This at Home, then this concept will feel very familiar to you, because it's kind of that, but on steroids. This Is Your Death is dark, and there are people who will find this incredibly disturbing as a concept. So what I'm going to do first is explain the basic premise of this movie so that you can decide for yourself if this is something that you would actually be interested in or not. I enjoy movies that make me think and make me question things, and This Is Your Death is certainly one of those movies for me. The opening, though, of this movie is point for point the opening of the 2004 movie Stepford Wives. Like, exactly what happens with the opening. But rather than the host losing their job, it sparks this idea to start a new reality TV competition. And the host then turns the camera back on the viewer and says, "This is because of you that studios think that there is some kind of financial gain in this, because you will watch it regardless of what we put out there." I was worried about how this movie was going to deal with the topic of mental health, because at the end of the day, this is death for the sake of entertainment. And our host, very quickly, it becomes apparent that they are suffering from signs of PTSD because of what happens in the very beginning. So when this pitch is given to them and the producer, both of them are very much against this idea in the beginning. The host wants to use his platform to spread empathy and to make the audience feel something for the people who have been pushed to the point where they feel like they need to do this with their lives. He wants to make sure that these people, their stories get out there and they are heard by a much larger audience. The premise of this comes from an idea that in California, assisted death has been legalized as long as a psychiatrist has deemed that the person is in sound mind. So all the network needs to create this show is a psychiatrist who will sign these people off so that they can assist them with the ending of their own lives. This movie shows that people watch reality TV for entertainment, and that they don't watch it because they care about these people or what actually happens to them in the long run once a show has ended. I massively struggle with my mental health, so if I had watched this movie on one of my bad days, I would not have had the same thoughts and reaction as I did today. I happened to just watch it on one of my really good days, so could take in everything that was happening and be like, I can see exactly how these people got to the point that they got to. Like, can I see how this is a solution to people's problems when they think that it is going to help everybody else in their lives? Yes. There is one particular character in this called Mason, and he works his arse off at multiple jobs and still ends up in this position. It shows the average story that most people will work themselves into the ground for most of their life and never actually get anything back for it. I'm undecided though about my rating for This Is Your Death, between a 4 or a 4.5 stars. So whatever is flashing up on the screen right now, that is what I finally decided to give this movie. I fully understand that this movie is quite polarizing, and if you don't believe me, just check Letterboxd. Like, it's not got a great average score over. I had a really good time watching this double feature, and I think that watching these two movies this way round really made a difference. Funhouse says, you really like reality TV, so we're going to make a reality TV competition using all of the things that you are familiar with, but we're just going to make it a death game. So that way, you're going to be invested in it and you're going to have a good time while you watch it. This Is Your Death says, you are the reason why reality TV is allowed to exploit people for financial gain, because regardless of what people are pushed to do, there is still going to be an audience who have a fascination for it. For two movies that both deal with the topic of reality TV, they are both similar but also different enough so I don't feel like I just watched the same movie back to back. So I would say that this has been a successful double feature. And out of the two, I would say that This Is Your Death was my favourite out of the two movies, but again, I'm not pitting these two movies against each other. If you're planning on watching either of these movies, or both of these movies, please let me know down in the comments section, and if you've watched either or both of these movies, I would like to know your opinions on them as well. I will be back on Monday with another solo movie review, but until next time, bye!